blood orange morning, we hardly slept. Stuck together like honey, hold each other slowly, sweeter than it should be, softer than a melody. Yeah, yeah, you can have me. Close to me, you can touch me. Close to me, you can feel me. Close to me, now you love me.
You're tuned in to a Grown Folks production
In the mix.
with the commish, Nate.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Press Pass Live, your OMFL podcast show for the world's oldest and longest online Madden CFM in the world. Started in 2001, still going strong today. You see, I got a full crew. I pointed to the wrong side. Full crew over here. We got all the guys except for maybe one who I'm not fully sure is here. Nope, he's not. I was trying to check while I was doing it, and I moved way too slow, and my co-hosts are not helping me out at all here tonight. It is a quiet group, which is saying something. What's up, Coffee? Let's jump right into it. We got some games to cover. We got some playoffs to talk about. We got Randy to get to bed. We got Maniac and Trey to get off and play some hockey. So we got lots of things we got going on tonight, and we're going to get right through this. Guys, let's look at week number 17. The Jets beat the Broncos 35-16. I guess Jay Glaze decided to play this week's game. The next one was Big Hurt beating up on Priest 31-13. Kobe kept my playoff hopes alive for at least 1 week with a 40-34 victory over Tim and the Lions. Little Koch continues to stay red hot with that. I'm pretty sure would end up being the number one seed in the AFC, a 24-14 victory over the checked out Mr. Dim Brew. Mike Fleury with a 34-28 victory over the checked out Kevin. Mr. Nipples continues his red hot streak, which abruptly ended tonight. I'm sure we'll talk about that. 42-14 over Twinkie. My Saints beat Crazy 41-24. Lost Sniper with a 31-20 victory over Massimo. Maniac kept his slimming playoff hopes alive at this point. 15-7 over D-Money. Meek Boy with a 38-35 victory over Joker. That one also gave my team a little bit of hope, but that would be squashed in week number 18. Jacksonville and Nicesonger falls to C Murder 49-35. So hard to try to remember real names, and then you see the PSN names and I start having strokes and I can't get through it. Logan with a 27-17 victory over the CPU owned Bird. Since he was on vacation, his team was set to CPU. Dallas with a 34-13 victory as Dwayne takes down Bill. Reluctant Pancake, Mr. Randy, 49-35, big-time victory over Roger and those Texans. Penguins with a 29-27 victory over Trey and the Commanders, and then wrapping up.
Not the actual score.
Oh, that's right. You guys had played and they had like a super late disconnection, and then I think did something else, right?
There was 2 minutes left and I was down by 2 scores, so there was no point to replaying.
There you go. And then finally, you got the Raiders and Jay Bowles with a 37-17 victory over Luca. Fellas, not a ton of these games actually mattered. I think the ones that actually mattered the most were some of my favorite one, at least, Tennessee beating the Detroit Lions 40-34. Kobe and the Titans won the championship early in the cycle. Life kind of took him out of it. He also kind of moved some players around, sort of had to do a mini rebuild. But boy, he has started to warm up here late. That's the game I think that caught my most attention. But I'm turning it over to you guys and opening it up. What caught your attention here in week number 17?
Jumps off Cardinals for me. Sorry, my laptop keeps trying to switch to my phone. Seahawks and Cardinals. I know Joker got Meek a few weeks back in kind of a surprising blowout almost, but Joker outgained Meek by almost 100 total yards, but where it came down to turnovers, Joker had 2 of them. You look at the box score; they were both interceptions by Henry. White continued his fantastic potential MVP season with 4 touchdowns, no picks on 68 completion percentage. Neither one of them, I mean, they ran the ball decent, but definitely were throwing the ball. Crompton had a good day. Dobson had a good day. So I think that clinched the division for Seattle, and it also left another avenue open for Nate, but it just didn't unfortunately work out because of the way Week 18 unfolded.
We're going to talk about it, but man, the Seahawks continue their regular season dominance in this league. I think we have to give note. We always talk about normally the D Moneys, but definitely the D Waynes. You know, we've seen Nipples and Denbrew both go on separate runs. You here, Randy, with your Colts. We've seen Maniac go on runs. The Seattle Seahawks on this cycle have been on a heck of a run in the regular season. We got to see what he does in the playoffs, and I've got my own thoughts about that. What about the rest of you guys? What caught your eye here in week number 17?
It's basically the same game. Just kind of really thought that the Seahawks did an exceptional job holding off Joker. I mean, because Joker can put up a lot of points, like Randy was saying. Put up a lot of yards, and he's got a couple wide receivers that are just absolute beasts that we're probably going to see move over. At least one of those guys are probably going to move over to the next Madden. But just the efficiency that what Boy has done with the wide receivers, I think he's built a good squad there. He let Metcalf go, and a cost-cutting move a couple of seasons ago, and then he drafted this guy Perry Tyson, who has just kind of filled in right where Metcalf left off, and then he drafted the next season after that this guy Dobson. So he's got a good arsenal as well for his wide receivers, and I wouldn't be surprised when those guys heads over to the next Madden as well. But he definitely spreads the ball around very well in his offense.
Trey, wrap us up for week number 17. And, well, since you went last, I'll let you go double since Big Hurt's not here.
Yeah, I got to put the spotlight on Penguins here because EA discredited us entirely. Penguins played a great game. I started off early. I caused him into a bad throw, got an easy user pick, and had him scrambling with interceptions galore. And my lord, student came up and beat the teacher quite handily in the second half. And yeah, Penguins put a great game plan together. Passing attack. It was just picking me apart left and right, especially once my cornerback went down. He definitely used it to his advantage to capitalize. And EA ruined a chance for me to potentially get back into the game, but 2 minutes and 2 scores against that defense was not going to be an easy task.
I think a not hot take. You two are very similar coaches in a lot of ways, in the way you build teams and the way you attack players and the way you attack the offseason. Very, very similar. Wow. You can see some common threads there. That would have been a ton of fun to be able to watch.
Like I said, teacher and student. When Penguins started getting into competitive Madden, I was the one helping him get along. Now he's taking his own preferences and goes his way, and I have my way.
Let's take a look at week number 18. This starts to get funky for me, fellas. So my game ended up never getting played, and I was a little salty about it because as I was waiting in hopes to play today, I found out that actually it was over because Arizona won and Tim won, and that sort of ended any opportunity that I thought I have. And so I never got to even play my very last game with that team that I was really proud that I had finally built after a very long rebuild again. So I'm going to skim a lot of these because I don't know which was played, what wasn't played, what actually mattered. Week number 18 gets really funky, and we'll get through these really quick. Houston beats Tennessee 27-17. Cincinnati with a 27-0 victory over Baltimore. Atlanta with a 27-10 victory over Carolina. Cleveland with a 17-7 victory over Buffalo. Arizona with a 34-9 victory over Tampa Bay. Pittsburgh bounces back 27-24 over Twinkie. The Chargers continue to stay red hot, 29-22 over Kansas City. The Vegas Raiders 45-17 over Miami. The Rams 34-28 over San Francisco. Detroit with a big victory, 31-21 over the New York Giants. I'll talk a little bit about that one. Seattle 49, Chicago 17. New Orleans beats Denver. That game was actually never played, 27-21. Indianapolis with a 38-21 victory over the Jets. Green Bay falls to Jacksonville 38-35. Nice end of the season for Nysanger. Dallas with a 36-27 victory. Yep, I'm getting there. Just let me finish here. 27 victory over Washington, which was also not played. And Minnesota wrapping it up 28-21 over New England. I want to come back up here and talk about this New York Giants game. Bill gave it his very best shot, but Detroit and Tim just stay red hot. Tim is a very good offensive player, but knows how to make just enough plays on defense to really, really help his team. And it was the story of the game today. 105 rushing yards, 230 passing yards, but the 4 turnovers really helped that Detroit defense shine. And holding on to the ball 21 minutes to 14 minutes is always going to help the cause. Jesse Fargas played outstanding. 3 touchdowns on the day. 59% completion percentage, only sacked 1 time. Gibbs threw in an extra 15 for 97. No touchdowns on the day, but able to make a couple of big plays. Theo Johnson for the Giants, 4 catches, 102 yards. And then looking at the defensive playmakers, you can see the sack leaders was Hutchinson and Thibodeau for the 2 teams respectively. And then Scott and Branch and Carr each had picks, with Scott having 2 of them. And the Detroit Lions stamp their road to the playoffs and get one of those last few wild card spots in the NFC. Fellas, what about you here in week number 18? What up, Ariel?
I'll talk about a game that meant absolutely nothing, but I think it means a lot heading into next Madden. Nysanger with a 38-35 victory. That makes it back-to-back weeks. He put up 35 plus. He scored 35 last week against Colin, and Colin's no defensive slouch by any means. He put up 518 yards of offense. That's a really, really lot of offense. And I played Priest a few weeks back, and he struggled, but his defense was what kept him in the game for the first 2.5 quarters against me. So 518 yards. He had 5 touchdowns with his quarterback Haynes, 2 picks. He does kind of throw a few picks, so I think if he can clean that up, he might have a pretty good chance going to next Madden to compete, because I know he really wants to. Scarborough, 9.1 yards per carry, about 146 yards. It's pretty efficient there. Defensively, there was a couple sacks, nothing crazy there. And like I said, there was 2 turnovers. Taylor had 2 picks for the Jags. McKinney had 1. Lloyd had 1. Bennett had 1. So a lot of turnovers, a lot of points, a lot of really fun game to watch. It meant nothing, but I think it does mean a little something into the season off strong.
I absolutely agree with you. It's good to see Nysanger get a big win. 24 minutes time of possession to just over 11 minutes. I feel like Priest never had the ball, and yet was able to, do what Priest does and make that game a little bit tighter. What about the rest of you guys? What caught your eye here in week number 18? What up, Nysanger?
Speaking of guys running on a bit of momentum here, and this was going to play a factor into our remaining Madden 25 cycle, I gotta go give some credit up to the man, Cattle. Colin's a tough opponent, but to do what he did to Colin is just, that's something that you go, okay, has, Meek found his path to his OMFL Bowl finally, because you only had 175 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. You ran the ball effective. You have 15 carries for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. But the key thing that I look to here is Colin, who's not known for throwing many interceptions. You made him throw not 1, not 2, not 3, but 6. That's crazy to get Colin to throw that many interceptions.
7 turnovers
Colin's,
total.
like, that's effective. If Meek can get that kind of defense against anybody in the NFC and the AFC, how do you stop him? If he's got control of the ball, he's one of the best. It's just everybody, when it comes to the playoff time, keeps the ball out of his hands. Meek needs to find a way to keep the ball, and this year shows he might have found the way to do it.
Yep, I agree with you. It looks like there was some weird quarterback situations there, and as noted by Cincy Berg in the chat, looks like the backup quarterback had to play, but still 6 interceptions is 6 interceptions, no matter who they're against. A weird-looking game where the Chicago Bears actually had the ball for 80% of that game, and somehow Meek continues to flex his muscles. Mr. Maniac, wrap us up here from week number 18.
Yeah, I'm just going to talk a little bit about Roger and the Texans. He finished up strong here playing Kobe. I'm assuming. I know he had kind of a situation where he had to go and had to go to the hospital and do some stuff, but still, the season that he's had, he's 11 wins. He gets a big win here against a tough opponent, and the Titans in 27-17 victory. I think Roger, he is one of those guys that he lives and dies by the big play, and the big play has been working for him the last 2 seasons, and I'm interested to see what he does the rest of the playoffs, what he can do. No matter what, he's going to face Cincyberg, I think, the first round, so, and the wild card, so that's going to be a very interesting game. I'll probably, there's probably gonna be a 50 burger in that game. I'm figuring, but in the game, the Kobe, that's one of the ones that he's in your own division, finishing up. Yeah, Kobe didn't have a whole lot to play for, except for draft position at this point in time. But he definitely played really good defense as well. It looked like in this game, picked off Kobe's quarterback several times. Picked him off 3 times. So Jordan Love struggled in this game. So and he only kept him to 44% completion percentage this game. So Rodgers kind of sneaky, and if guys sleep on him, he'll creep up on them and he'll sneak a win from you. So, but congratulations to Roger on a great season. Proud of him.
I absolutely agree with you. Roger does not get his flowers nearly enough, and that's going to be a really fun matchup between him and Cincy, who is in the chat. And if I know Cincy, already itching, ready to get that one in, and hopefully Roger's body allows him to do that. Guys, let's transition to what everybody is here for. I'm proud of us. 20 minutes. We only went through 2 weeks, but still 20 minutes, not too bad. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. We always start with the AFC. We're going to start with the NFC this time. We got the first round wild card matchups. We got Meek Boy hosting Tim, that 2-7 matchup of the Seahawks and the Lions. 3-6 matchup between the Bears and the Cardinals. That's going to be Colin and Joker, and a really fun one. Actually, I think all these are going to be fun, but a 4-5 matchup between the Panthers and the Vikings as Bird matches up against Big Hurt. Fellas, that's going to be a really fun one. I'm going to try to keep my thoughts brief as you guys get ready to interrupt me and get going here. I think Meat Boy continues that red hot streak. I have my worries about him, and when I finally don't pick him, because I won't, I will explain what those worries are, but I think he just matches up too well against Tim and the Lions. Too much firepower, too much playmaking ability on both sides of the ball. I see Meat Boy being able to handle that one. It'll be close because Tim's going to get his, but I see Meat Boy running away from that one early. Tim fighting, battling back to tighten that one up late, but Meat Boy is still going to get the victory there. A really fun matchup between the Bears and the Cardinals is just going to be 2 teams that I think attack the game very similar in a lot of ways around team building. Big, athletic playmakers on both sides of the ball. The Bears have been a tough one. They're sitting here as the number 3 seed, but yet we've seen like some really big hit and misses, including that Seattle game. On the other side, we've seen Joker start out red hot, where some teams thought he might be the last team to actually lose a game this season. Then he hit a pretty big rough stretch and then was able to win just enough games there at the end to sneak into this one. I don't know who to pick. I think literally flip a coin. I can't wait to see. I don't even know if they're going to be posting playoff odds, but Cincyberg, if you post any playoff odds, I'd love to see the line on this one because I think that's going to be a really close game. Give me the home team, though. Give me Colin. He's been there before. He's got a championship under his belt. Give me the Bears to win that one. Then a fun matchup between the Panthers and the Vikings. Big Hurt, he was supposed to be here tonight. Technically, he is online, but he isn't here tonight. He's got a lot going on in his world.
I'm here.
Oh, Mr. Big Hurt is here. Well, good, Big Hurt. Can't wait to get your playoff predictions. Big Hurt's got a lot going on in his world. As you can see, he was able to join us a little late. Bird's on vacation mode, and he's back home, but still, he's like on vacation mode. I don't know who to pick here. I think this is just going to be a classic battle between two teams, and even though I love both of these guys, I'm just going to take the team that's done it more often this cycle in Bird and the Panthers. So I got the Seahawks, I got the Bears, I got the Panthers. And you know what? Because he showed up late and we ain't heard his beautiful voice just yet, I'm giving it to Big Hurt to give me his wild card rundown in the NFC.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, I've had a lot going on outside of work and family and new job starting in like a couple weeks and all that. So I'll actually be traveling for like 17 weeks in the training program. But long story short, I'm still going to be around. But yeah, NFC, why we're here. This is going to be a fun playoff. I think the Lions and the Seahawks is an intriguing matchup. One, because Tim likes to run the drag routes, and the passing game that he has plays right into the hands of Seattle with the defensive backs that Meek Boy has. And I think it's time for, I said it last time, but Meek Boy's gotta turn the corner at some point. And is this the time that he does it? And I do think the Seahawks come out on top. And I think the Meek Boy turns the tables, writes the script, and gets a big win in the first round. Even though he's the 2 seed, probably projected in most cases to win, I think the Seattle Seahawks come out with a big win in the first round. Second game, the Cardinals with Joker and Colin and the Bears. This is a really, really fun matchup just because I think both guys have a lot of speed, a lot of youth. Both teams have guys on both sides of the ball that are really in their prime right now. And I think these guys probably have the best of selections and options to take in as importable players just because their age and how many options they have. But I think I think Colin has what it takes to win. I'm going to go with the Cardinals to win this game only because he's got the speed back. He's got the speed receiver. And I just think Joker's play style just frustrates a lot of people. And Colin, I think, has won it. So, I think he's going to be locked in. I think it's going to be a good game. I just think the Cardinals pull it out. Joker found a way to get in and plays in a tough division against Meek Boy and D-Money when D-Money is locked in. So he's played those tough games, and I think the Cardinals pull this one out. And then the final game is myself versus the Panthers. And I've played Bird a handful of times, I think twice already this cycle in the playoffs. And this dude just builds great teams and calls the right plays and just, frustrates people. And Nate, I heard you have lots and lots of conversations about how strong of a player and owner Bird is, and I've seen it firsthand. I do think this game is going to be interesting. All I can say is I am officially, for the first time, have Justin Jefferson healthy for a playoff matchup in the first round. And this is like, I think, my third or fourth go at it. But every time I've had Justin Jefferson hurt. And so that is a little bit of peace of mind going into this game that I have my best player. But I think at the same time, like, that opens up the door because I've been able to balance things out with Bateman and Davis and my other receivers, but also be able to run the ball. When Justin Jefferson goes down, it's like the whole offense just doesn't click. And the Birds also I think the reigning champ, if I remember right. So here's what I'm gonna say is I hope I have what it takes to come over top. I'm just gonna play the confidence edge that I'm gonna get the win in a very close game just because I got Justin Jefferson and I'm hungry for a championship. So I'm gonna hopefully get out a big win, and I'll just pick myself in a close game. I hate to do that, but if I don't pick myself, it's a mental thing.
I agree. I also think you might have just did the sports curse on Mr. Jefferson, so hopefully he stays healthy for that entire game. Fellas.
Yeah.
Who else wants to jump in for the wild card round, NFC?
Starting with the Lions and the Seahawks, I think it's interesting, that matchup, because I think both guys are like 40 days of fasting hungry to win one. I just think Meek has the edge, and I personally picking the Seahawks. I wouldn't be like over the moon shocked if the Lions won, but I think Meek has a better team. He's a little bit more polished around the edges in terms of like he can beat you in many different ways. I think he has kind of a bit of the playoff like jitters at times, because I know when I first started making it, I definitely did too, and I mean I still get him at times, but I think he's one of the more talented players here, and I think he'll definitely show that in this game. So give me the Seahawks there. Moving to Cardinals Bears, I think it's very interesting what both of you have said. That game is coin flip. I have literally no idea who is going to come on top. Joker is a great player. He knows how to. He's one of the better play callers. I think he doesn't get as much credit for that as he should. He knows when to call plays at the right times. That being said, Colin is dominant. I know he's had a few sputters this season, but he's been really good in the playoffs all cycle, and I can't pick against that. So give me the Bears. And then Vikings and Panthers, I think Hurt kind of talked about it really well. I think the difference in this game, for me, I think both players are equal in terms of like ability and ownership, but Panthers are coming off a bowl. I think they have the better overall team, and I think that plays a little bit of a factor in the playoffs. So I'll take the Panthers.
Fellas, wrap us up, Trey Maniac.
There's only one game that I feel like I have a clear. That's going to be Seattle and Detroit. Loved him. He's done good taking over. His stick skill is going to keep up with Meeks. Meeks is one of the better stick players in the game. And I've noticed it. A lot of Tim's offense comes around Jameson Williams. Meek has got some very good corner work. Probably shut that down. I think Tim's going to be, depending on Gibbs, and if that gets shut down, then he's going to be struggling to get an offense going. So I have Meek winning that one. And the other two games are very challenging. Colin and Joker is going to be a very interesting matchup. Joker's offense is a lot of your crossers, your drags, and mixes it in, gets you frustrated, and then he puts his running back in your face, and you're trying to catch him from behind as he somehow flies back to your entire offensive line. Colin's one of those guys I feel like he can pull that together, and he'll find a game plan that fits his team to beat that. I feel like he'll pull the edge just barely in a very close competitive game. And then sorry. The game I had the most back and forth with myself overall doing the playoff challenge. Hurt and Bird are going to have probably what I'm going to game of the playoffs. I feel like this will be back and forth games, and it's going to come down to the very last play. And just based on how I played both of them, I give the slight stick work to Bird in this one. I feel like he'll get an interception that just you don't expect him to be covering somebody, and out of nowhere snag it from you. So I'll give him the win in that one.
Maniac, take us home, brother.
Right. Well, there's some interesting matchups, obviously. So I'm going to do this in reverse. I'm going to start from the bottom and go up to the top. So we're going to talk about the Vikings, Panthers. I think this game is probably one of the more intriguing matchups, I think, I think with Bird, you have a guy like Trey put it like he is like one of the keenest lurkers using the middle linebacker. Like he's sneaky and he takes away stuff that he thinks open and he'll sneak in an interception. He's also very good at using the linebacker to come in and stop the run. So I think he's kind of take some lessons from Dwayne. But Big Hurt's he's been in this situation before. He's built a pretty good team there in Minnesota, and I just think the way Hurt has played, he game plans really well against his opponents, and so I do believe I think the Vikings are going to get the victory here, move on to the next round. Bears, Cardinals, Joker, Colin. They have had a little bit of a past before in the deuce. So this is going to be intriguing. I think Collins, if I remember right, one back in the day, we banned over there when we were the second Madden league or whatever. The defensive tackle thing, user thing, drove him bananas. I think he drove a lot of us bananas during that Madden because it was just like impossible to stop. So, but Joker is probably one of the best defensive tackle users, and yeah, it don't take a whole lot of skill, but whatever. It's the guy just gets in the backfield and causes havoc, and it is frustrating. So, but with that said, I think Colin, he's established himself. He's got, his team is 2 years older and more mature than they were than when he won the OMFL Bowl. And I think his overall roster, I think it's just in a little bit better shape than the Cardinals because the Cardinals started out with a pretty poor roster to start this Madden. But I think Colin's going to get the victory here. I think it's going to be a close game. I definitely think it's going to be down to the wire. But give me Colin here in the Bears to get the victory. And then Meat Boy and versus Tim. This one's going to be. You can always say every game's intriguing. This game's going to be intriguing. Tim has taken some lessons from Trey. He likes to talk about his team a lot. So I'm kidding with you, Trey. I'm not trying to throw any shade. Well, maybe a little bit, but Meek Boy, we know he's had a little bit of struggles in the playoffs, but I'm telling you that team plays so much different. And I still like I was the first game he had to play in the season. And his offensive line was 60 overall, and I swear that line played super good. So I don't know what kind of magic potion he's got given these guys, but they have played rock solid all season long. He's got like 53 touchdown passes with White, and they have played great and kept him upright for the most part of the season. And he's had a really decent season for us rushing attack as well. And we talked about his 2 wide receivers that he has as well. I just think it's going to be too much for Tim and the Lions. Congratulations to him getting in the playoffs. I know he's been kind of snubbed the last couple of seasons. I think he got outed from tiebreakers and stuff, but he made it. But I don't think it's going to be enough for him to get past this. And I just see the Seahawks are going to be too stout, and no bones about it. He's got a chip on his shoulder ready to go.
Thank you guys for breaking that down. This is where this show gets weird because all of us have different winners and then the matchups start to get weird. So and try your very best to remember who you picked and what the matchups would be. And as succinctly as you can, when I come to you, get me to an NFC champion, just who will be representing the OMFL from the NFC. I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 all winning their first round games. Of course, one is on a bye week. Dwayne has had yet another powerful offseason, and we're going to see another matchup that ended up taking Dwayne down last season. I think in the NFC Championship game was that game between Bird and the Carolina Panthers, Dwayne and those Dallas Cowboys. We're seeing a rematch of that. My heart wants to go with Dwayne, but there's been something that, like, I don't know if it's just he's busy. He hasn't been on the show in months. I haven't seen him, I think, in a while. Life is very busy. He's got a lot going on in his world. There's no shade. It's just like all of us, very, very busy. And Dwayne has won so many championships here. He's sort of like, meh, is what it is. If I win one, great. If I don't, great. I don't care. I'm just kind of moving on. It doesn't really phase him. I think Bird, though, would like to be that 2-time back-to-back champion. I think this is going to be a fun matchup. I really do think the Dallas Cowboys win this game. I'm picking Carolina just because, I don't know, man. I just want to see Dallas prove me wrong and actually get there. Maybe I'm giving him some bulletin board material. Then that sets up Meek Boy and the Seattle Seahawks against Colin and the Chicago Bears. Another classic game. That's going to be a fun back and forth. I'm taking Colin and the Bears because of the defense. Yes, Colin's going to have to go on the road. Meek Boy's in the chat. He said, no jitters, just bad luck and frustration. I never believed jitters either. I always thought it was a frustration thing. Something happens in the playoffs for you, and it just sort of unravels that in the regular season, I always watch you push through frustration or push through bad luck or push through bad plays that end up happening. And there's something about Colin that I think he just wants to go on another run here. Look for him to go on the road, get the upset, and represent the NFC in the championship game. Bears, Panthers, Bird, Colin, two guys who've already won a championship in this cycle. They're going to be going at it. This one's going to be on the frozen tundra, I'm sure, of or whatever the field is called now. What is that? What is Soldier Field called now? I mean, whatever Soldier Field's called now, they're going to be going at it. Two teams, I think, approach the game slightly different, but with some similarities. Bird plays really great defense, a very good play caller. Colin, I feel like, is a really great GM, knows how to put his players in really good playmaking abilities. If Bird gets to this point, he's going to be back on a roll. I think he's going to be red hot. Bird represents the NFC in the OMFL Bowl for season 115. Fellas, tell me your matchups in the divisional round. Who wins divisional? Who wins championship? Who represents the NFC in OMFL Bowl 115?
My matchups are the exact same as yours there, Nate. I have in the Panthers versus Cowboys. I think we finally found the kryptonite to the Wayne, and I think it's the Bird. The Bird beats the Wayne.
That's a pretty good one, Trey. I'll give you that one.
I don't know. When Bird first got here, it was kind of, Wayne always had his number, but in recent, the script's kind of flipped here, and I don't see that changing. I see Bird getting in, stuffing McMillan up like he did last year, like I said he was going to win the game, and I feel like he's going to find himself right back to where he was last year. He did the exact same thing he's doing this season, running from the 4th seed on to the, at least at my point, the NFC Championship. And then in Colin versus Meek, as much as I like to talk about Meek's stick skill, I think this is where his inevitable playoff curse strikes him, and I have Colin's going to put a little bit of a Seattle rain down on Seattle.
Did we lose you?
Is your conference champion a secret?
Oh, no, I think we lost Trey.
Oh,
Oh,
whoops, yeah.
you're back.
My bad. I'm still on the round-by-round process.
Oh no, all the way. Give me all the way, because it starts getting weird, and we start trying to remember who we said, and just get me all the way.
Gotcha. And I feel like the momentum of the Birds is going to not only beat the Wayne, but it's going to beat the Colin. I've seen a lot of Bird this since returning to the OMFL, and I have a feeling we're going to see our first repeat potentially. Maybe? More than likely. Yeah, I think we're going to see our first repeat NFC champion in quite a few seasons.
I'll go ahead and jump in then. So I would have the exact same matchups as well: Panthers, Cowboys, and Bears, Seahawks. Starting with the Cowboys, Panthers. I hear you guys on Bird being Wayne's kryptonite. I think he matches up really well with him. I don't. My gut's telling me Wayne gets it done. I think he won a bowl early, and he wants to cement himself as the top dog here and get his second for the cycle. Um, I just I think Wayne is going to really down Bird's rushing attack and stuff that guy up the middle and take away everything that he can. So give me the Cowboys there in a close one, but I'm just leaning Cowboys even though history tells me otherwise. And then that'd be Seahawks Bears. I think it's so hard for me to pick against Meek because he's been probably the second best team, this second or third best team this season of this cycle. And Collins sputtered. I know he played backups against Meek, so you can't really count that, but he still played with tendencies, and I think Meek kind of found some of those tendencies in that game. That being said, Collins done this, and I think he's going to do it again. I think he's a really, really nasty wide receiver duo with Watts and what's his name, Odunze, and he doesn't run the ball a ton, but when he does, it's really effective. He has backs that are hard to tackle, and I'm feeling Bears and I'm feeling Cowboys, and an NFC title game. I'm picking Dallas. I think that Wayne is going to get back to where he wants to be. I think he wants to end the cycle strong, go into his little month and a half, little break, and right off high. So give me Dallas and to represent the NFC.
I'll go next, I guess. So so my matchups was the Seahawks and the Bears, and then Vikings, Cowboys. Definitely think that this Hawks Bears game could go either way. Armin tells me that Meek Boy may struggle, again because it's we've seen it happen so many times, but part of me wants me to I'm rooting for him to get past that and stuff and try to get into a bowl game because that's what we all play for, competitive, against each other. We want to win and get a bowl. But I just think it's going to be one of these games. It could be a coin toss, but give me the Hawks to at least advance to the NFC Championship game. It's definitely going to be a high flying game. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. This one, no matter who wins that one. And then it's going to be the Vikings, the Cowboys for my picks here. We've seen Hurt go on runs before. The season that he made the bowl game and won the bowl game, he was in San Francisco. He beat a lot of good opponents. We've seen guys that's went on runs this Madden. They've had to go through the gauntlet in the playoffs to get to the OMFL bowl game. But that said, Dwayne is Dwayne. He's the Dakota Nightmare. And that is my nickname I've given him, and it sticks so well. I will say though, he's had a couple of injuries late in the season. McMillan got hurt, I think, for three weeks, and he had another guy get hurt. They're pretty key players for him, so that could affect him. But I just think Dwayne is Dwayne, and it'll be a close game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game because both these guys play exceptional defense. So look like for like a 20-17 type of game from these two. But give me the Cowboys advanced to the NFC Championship game against the Hawks. And with that said, we got Meek Boy against Dwayne. I think I picked Dwayne pretty much every season, and he ends up losing one of these close games in the last seconds of a championship game. But I think I'm kind of in the same mindset as Randy. I think Dwayne won the first season of this Madden cycle, and he's going to finish it out, kind of solidify like he was the big dog here, and so he's going to move on to represent the NFC in the OMFL Bowl.
And then there was one. Big Hurt, wrap us up. Give me your NFC, brother.
So I had Dwayne obviously on a bye, Meek Boy winning against the Lions, the Cardinals beating the Bears, and myself getting the win against the Panthers. So that would create a Cardinals-Cowboys matchup. I think with that, I think Joker would give Dwayne a really good game, especially with CeeDee Lamb and McMullen out. That would be a very interesting game. But I just think Dwayne's pass rush and the way the Cardinals play, I see Dwayne giving him troubles and fits to force a few turnovers and be able to take that game. So I got the Cowboys winning. And then myself going up against Seattle. I feel like Meek Boy's on the hunt. And as much as he struggles in the playoffs or this time of the year or has struggled in this cycle, he also owes me one from last year when I was upset him in the playoffs right out of the gate from the last season. I think this would be an interesting game for sure, and I'd be interested to see how it plays out. But I'm just going to go with if Meek Boy gets out of the first round, he's got the monkey off his back. So I got Seattle winning, and that creates a Dallas-Seattle matchup for the NFC Championship. And therefore, I just have to go with the guy that's done it. And even with Lamb and McMullen out, Lamb hurts because that's his go-to guy. But Dwayne has other guys that can take the load in the pass game, and it's not like he's a huge passing team anyways. It's the McMullen that hurts. But with that being said, Dwayne has a second running back that is basically like a Derrick Henry type of back. Mario Jones, 6'1", 242 pounds with 90 speed. And behind that, he's also still got Brian Robinson and then a speed back that's a rookie with 94 speed. I still feel like he would find a way to utilize that running game. And as I spoke with the pass rush, the defense, the pressure moments, I just feel like Dwayne's been there more often than Meek Boy. So I got to go with Dallas just to pull out a tight win. I think it's tighter because McMullen's not there. That's his go-to, bell cow back. But and then Lamb being the kind of the safety blanket. But he gets those guys back then coming for the Super Bowl. So I think Dwayne does represent the NFC into the Super Bowl or the OMFL Bowl here. And then gets his entire team back for that matchup.
Sitting here talking on mute. Boys, I got to give you credit when credit is due. Great job running through the NFC in a timely manner. Let's see if we can repeat that over here in the AFC. We got a 2-7 matchup between the Colts and the Steelers, a 3-6 matchup that was played between the Chargers and the Ravens, and then a 4-5 matchup between the Jets and the Texans, with the Bengals having themselves a great season that gave them the number 1 seed. Let me go ahead and talk about the game that was already played. The Chargers and the Ravens. This one ended up going opposite of how I would have originally picked that had we not seen the score. I felt like Nipples was red hot, playing exceptional football. Logan was too, but man, Nipples was really, it felt like on a different level. Both of those guys, when I played them late in the season, made me feel like I was playing on Superstar All Madden and they were playing on Rookie. They were just playing at a completely different level than I could ever imagine. 2 turnovers for the Ravens, 3 for the Chargers, but yet they still were able to keep this to a 1-point score in the fourth quarter and only allowed the Ravens to score 1 touchdown in the second half. You can see time of possession was 21 to 14 minutes. Jackson with 2 interceptions of the day, Herbert with 3, but both of these guys in the plus percentage of completion percentage, 52 for Jackson, 64 though for Herbert. The run game was led by Pierce, 17 for 111 and 3 touchdowns. Copeland got his. No receiver though being exceptional today. Copeland 3 for 71, no touchdowns on the day. Nash with 13 total tackles, 6 of them solo. You can see the 1 sack on the day was Parker Rose. That guy's an absolute superstar. And then Nass, Mitchell, Wilson, Hamilton, and Henley all with interceptions on the day. And a big time win there for the number 3 seed Chargers. Let me call my other games before I hand it off to the guys who are just doing wild card this time around. Colts and Steelers. Give me the Colts. Randy, I think you're red hot. You're playing good football. You got the confidence back. You know how your team is wanting to play. What's up, Bill? I think the Colts are going to win this one in a very good game, but the Colts are going to come out on top. Jets, Texans, flip a coin. I'm just going to go ahead and pick with my head, not my heart here. I think Cincy Berg is a different monster whenever he gets into the playoffs. I think he attacks teams on all fronts. Roger can start to turn the ball over. He's going to be on the road. He might press a little bit if he falls behind. I've seen the Jets play games this season where it just feels like they come at you from all angles. Give me the Jets to win that one. So I got Colts, Jets winning the left. Games remaining to be played here in the wild card round. Chargers already have a victory. Fellas, give me your wild card only AFC breakdown. Take it away.
I'll start with my game, Steelers at Colts. So I want to preface this by saying I genuinely think, and I don't know, I could just have AFC shaded glasses, and I know we've struggled overall in the OMFL Bowls, but I think this particular season
3-1 this cycle, by the way.
Yeah, I know. We're working on it, but I think any of the three matchups, I guess the 5 remaining teams in the AFC, well, I guess 6 if we count the Bengals. I'm stumbling, but you could genuinely, I think you could make a realistic case for any of these teams. They've been red hot. There was 3 11-6 teams and 3 14-3 teams. Pretty dominant football. So I really think a lot of these games are coin flips. I'm not a guy. I'm a confident player. I think I can beat, and I have beaten everybody at points. But I'm not one who talks about myself a lot. I don't like to do that. I like to let my team do it and let others do it. That being said, I think this game, it's kind of a tough matchup for me. His play style does not play well into my defensive strength. My defensive strength is more so the secondary than it is the front 7. He likes to run the ball. However, I think I just have more playmakers, and I think I'll get that one done in a close game. Texans-Jets is interesting. The Jets are flying under the radar because they finished, I think, 9-8. But, I mean, if you have a brain, you know that does not mean anything in the playoffs, especially with Cincy. He is easily top 10, if not a top 5 coach here. And I think his experience, his play style will overwhelm Roger in this game. So give me the Jets.
Even when I told the guys, be ready, have your thoughts. I'm going first to give you plenty of time to think. There's still that 45 seconds of no one wanting to unmute. Thank you, Randy, for going first, by the way. Go, Trey.
It's the question mark of who's taking who. Obviously, I'm very happy because the predictor I picked the Chargers beat the Ravens, so thank you, Logan. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Steelers and Colts, I have this being a very back and forth matchup and coming down to the wire. I gotta give Penguins a little bit of clap on the back, and I think he'll ride his little spur of momentum into the end and capitalize on up some weaknesses inside the Colts defense. I know you mentioned to me earlier that he's the tackles though, so that should help with the run game. Jets Texans, I feel like as much as Nate wants to make this sound like it's going to be a close game, I don't think it's going to be much of a game. I think since he's going to be one to shut down DeMarco and in turn shut down Roger and make it very gritty.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Not that it necessarily matters, but I thought my D tackle was out, but he's back. I thought he was out till the divisional, so that is a bit of a help. I don't know if it'll matter much, but we'll see. Just wanted to let you know.
Still doesn't change my matter.
Late at night, we start talking about defensive tackles being back or not. Big Hurt Maniac, somebody take it away for the AFC wildcard round.
I've got the Steelers and the Colts. Obviously, interesting game was the Ravens and the Chargers in the first round of the AFC for me, but the Steelers and the Colts, I think this is two guys that are just heavyweights when you think about it, that they've, before a season starts. I definitely could see Penguins or Rainy Bronco Man, whatever you want to call him, or whatever he wants to go by. I think these are guys that could be at the end, last man standing for the AFC easily. But being a first round matchup, this is an interesting and intriguing matchup. I got to go with Randy, though. Randy this season's been a little bit more consistent. He's won some big games this season, especially with a 14-3 record. I got to go with the Colts. Come playoff time, Randy seems to lock in and has a little bit more swagger. The Steelers have been in the playoffs this cycle a couple times, but they just haven't had the success. I think he could, but I just think he's run into kind of the bigger heavyweight in this matchup for this cycle anyways, and the Colts. So I got the Colts winning that game. And then the other game that is yet to be played on the AFC side is the Texans and the Jets. As much as I love Roger, and I think Rodgers is built a staple and winning 11 games, and I've seen the success out of Roger, and it's awesome to see. I think someone said it earlier, since he's in the playoffs, it's just a different beast, different animal. Like, he kind of just goes through the motions. He's working, he's on vacation, he's doing all this and that. All of a sudden it hits playoff time, and it's like, yep, time to lock in. And when he does that, he's got the defense of guys to kind of bottle up the Texans offense and what they like to do. He's got the front on the defensive side with guys like Quinnen Williams and Judge Brick to get tackle up the middle, Trey Hendrickson off the edge, Becton off the edge. But then the corners is where the big thing is. And Sauce Gardner, George Banyard, Britton Staley, like, he's got the depth where he doesn't have to stress about which corners matched up. He might play if he's confident in one corner over the other, but I think he doesn't have to super stress about it. He's got the depth at corner to take away the pass game and rely on his front seven in the run game and applying pressure. I think that turns into turnovers, and anytime you get turnovers in the playoffs, that just turns into a disaster. And so I think this game goes the way for the Jets, and the Jets get a win here in the first round. But like I said, let's not forget what kind of season Rodgers had. Now back-to-back 2 seasons, and this guy's put up some numbers. I just think he's drew kind of a first-round bad matchup. Even though since he's only 9-8, that's deceiving in my opinion.
AFC is there's a lot of guys over here that could make a run for the bowl bid here. Starting off the top, Randy Bronco Man, aka Pancake. Man, we're gonna have to sell you on like an actual name or something for sure. But man, you built a really good team with the Colts, but the Steelers definitely. I think they do play a very tough style of football. Penguins. I've heard Trey talk about him and Penguins. You know, they kind of train together and they have kind of similar play style because when Trey was his mentor, basically. But I think the Colts right now, you've been flying high. You've got great offensive output for your quarterback. You've limited your mistakes with him, and I think ultimately that's going to be where this game is decided. The mistakes being made in this game, and I think they're going to commit the fewer ones, and I think Penguins are probably going to press a little bit, get behind some, and try to make a comeback. But I think it's going to ultimately hurt him in the back. But definitely see the Colts moving on to the next round. Obviously, we see the Chargers moving on to the next round. Jets, Texans. Again, this one is. I like to see Roger, advance, but I feel like, again, like it's been said, I've played Cincyberg twice a season this whole cycle, and we've had a lot of back and forth. But he has built such a great defense, especially his defense. And he's got some weapons on offense too. But his defense, whenever he needs to stop, or especially on the run defensive side, and then he's got the guys that can kind of cover one-on-one, and he's going to need that against Roger with that high-flying offensive attack that he has, because he can put up a lot of points. And I just think this game is probably going to be a high-scoring event. The Jets, Cincyberg, when it comes to playoff time, and when he needs to get a win, he just turns into a different beast. And I just see the Jets pulling out a victory here. It's going to be, again, like I said, I feel like it's going to be a lot of points for it. It may be like a 40 to 30 something game, but the Jets are going to get the job done here and move on to the next round.
Thank you guys for giving me your AFC wildcard matchup. Randy, you said when you were given one of your breakdowns, you said, I'm not a guy. I think it was you were talking about your breakdown of your game. You said, I'm not a guy. And then you stopped, period, and started a new sentence. So just like ended that first thought with, I'm not a guy. I was like, wait a second. He's not a guy? I thought he was a guy. Anyway, just a joke here. Just trying to have some fun.
I've done that before. Don't feel bad.
Maniac, I know you're using a different mic tonight, but if it's available to give it a hair more juice, you're pretty low. But I'm getting you. I'm boosting you as much as I can on my end. All right, guys, just like we did in the NFC, let's see if we can do the same thing and run through your entire AFC to get me to your bowl matchups. And then because none of this is actually going to be what we all think it's going to be, we'll just quickly run and say who we think is going to win the bowl game. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the AFC, just like I did the NFC, which means ain't no way this is going to happen. Like, it's just not going to work out that way where all the top seeds advance. But that's what I'm predicting right now. The Colts and the Chargers is going to be two teams that are playing pristine, chef's kiss football right now. I'm just going to take the home team. I think both guys are red hot. Both guys match up well. Both guys know each other pretty well. I'm just going to take the home team. I think the run game is going to be the difference in this one, and I think that is what Randy does really well. Jets are going to go play the Bengals, and Mr. Duncan Donuts is just going to he's going to shine. He's the number one seed. Everything in me, because I haven't got to see the Bengals play, doesn't know if the Bengals are for real. But, man, you earned the number one seed. You got a 485-pound quarterback out there just rumbling and bumbling and running people over. Give me the Bengals, even if it doesn't work that way. That's what I want to see. I want to see Mr. Duncan, I love donuts, in the Super Bowl. I want to see that happen, even though that's not what I actually picked. That's going to give me a matchup between the Bengals and the Colts, a classic game. The Colts are going to have to go on the road for the first time this playoff. They're going to be facing Mr. Duncan. I love donuts. It's going to be a ton of back and forth, two teams trying to figure each other out. I'm going to stick with my playoff madness prediction, even though I ain't going to lie. Nothing against Randy and the Colts. It's good to see him playing with his confidence, his bravado that Randy has. But, man, to see this big old boy playing quarterback in our OMFL Bowl would just be the perfect ending to our cycle here in Madden 25. But I do see the Colts representing the AFC. I think the defense is going to make just enough plays. The run game is going to slow that game down. I think that'll be a classic game. I'm going to try my best to call as many of these games as I have ability to. Should be a ton of fun, but give me the Colts to match up against the Birdman's Panthers in OMFL Bowl number 115. Now, fellas, don't leave me muted over here forever. Somebody jump in there and give me your full rundown of the AFC playoffs.
I got
In the
Steelers
famous
versus Bengals.
words, not so fast. In the famous words of Lee Corso, because college football is right around the corner, I got the Colts winning. I had the Chargers obviously already won, and I had the Jets winning. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. But because of Nate, I gotta give it to him here. I got the Colts beating the Chargers in a classic OMFL second round playoff matchup. I got the Jets playing the top seeded Bengals. And since he's going to have a little bit of a statement to prove, because not only is he playing his favorite team against the Bengals, but anytime you give Cincy a little bit of momentum or a little bit of reason why or a statement to be made, he's going to make the statement against the top seeded Bengals, which is his favorite team. Hey, Koch, trade them over to me instead of your boy Denbrew. So since he wins and it creates up a AFC championship game, Randy Bronco Man versus Cincy, and we know Nate's going to call it, so we can have those two boys on voice, and Nate's going to love every single minute of it in the AFC championship game. And then at that point, I got a coin flip, because these two dudes are like Vander Holyfield and Mike Tyson, just biting ears off and throwing punches and all the vocal things that could be said on a mic. And I'm only going to go with the Colts just because of the roster. And so I'm going to put the Colts up against the Cowboys in the OMFL Bowl for this season. And then I got the Colts pulling out the win against the Dallas Cowboys for the OMFL Bowl to end this cycle.
Did my guy na me just to pick the same team that I picked to get it? Okay, go ahead, Trey. Now, Trey.
Now you want to be quiet, Trey.
Now, Trey, come on. You let Big Hurt bully you out of going first, and now you're going to remain muted over there? What's going on?
Body break, maybe?
All right, Trey, we'll have to come back to
not you, but I was talking about the Jets upsetting the Bengals to create the matchup that you want to cover.
I know, bud. I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. We're trying to have fun here, fellas. Trey, are you back? Did you get abducted?
Hello?
You're back. Yeah. You didn't get probed, did you?
No, I'm wondering how my thing went mute.
Nah, I've been wondering that for 45 years, brother. Go ahead, take it over.
I've got Steelers versus Bengals, and as much faith as I have in my, I think Denver's consistently caused him some troubles, and a nice trip to the UFC Championship game, which I have then the Chargers versus the Jets. I feel like this is Logan's chance to put his stamp in the OMFL by beating a top team, and I feel like Logan's going to beating them and find himself in the bringing up a Bengals versus Chargers matchup, and I feel like I ride that train of momentum on his way to an OMFL Bowl. I have him just winning a close game with the Koch or Denbrew. Can't remember who's Cincinnati this time. Whichever one it is.
Koch.
And then that leaves me with a Panthers versus Chargers OMFL Bowl, and I feel this is Logan's run status of the elite ends, and I feel like this will be another Bird OMFL Bowl championship.
Is it my turn? All right, I'm gonna go. All right, so
Maniac from far, far away.
Maniac was abducted too. He's currently being held hostage, but they turned the mic on across the room. So he's like, "Hell, I'll just do the show. I'm sitting here tied up anyway."
I'm in the bathroom though.
It does sound like that.
Well, I'm not, but I could be. But maybe I just need to turn around and look at my mic and talk in my mic. Maybe that might help. So.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. If you turn that mic around, it was backwards the whole time. I might have to just turn the show off. I just might have to just just close, just out of here.
What am I supposed to talk into? Oh man, these are gonna be some. What'd you say, Randy?
I've been on mute this whole time.
Oh, okay. Well, I heard somebody say something. I thought it was you, but yeah. So these games are going to be extremely. I like Hurt's the prediction where he's like Evander Holyfield and the fighting terms and stuff. So that's kind of funny. But with the games that I've got picked out from the wild card round, we'd have the matchup between the Colts and Chargers, Jets versus Bengals. Chargers are definitely on a nice little run throughout the season. The Colts, though, I just think they're going to be too powerful. Again, it comes back down to turnovers, how the quarterbacks played, how the defense has played in coalition with their offenses, and I just think that the Colts right now are flying high, and I just feel like it's going to be a really tight game, though. Definitely going to have some blows back and forth in this game, and it's going to be one that's probably going to be a classic as well. Then you got the Jets versus the Bengals. I think again, Hurt was talking about this is Cincinnati's favorite team he's going against and stuff, and I think it's going to be a great matchup as well. I think the Bengals, though, if you look at his roster, he has one of the most well put together rosters, I think, of the entire league. I think his whole team is like a 96 overall or something like that, 95 defense, 95 offense, something stupid crazy. And I played him, and it just seemed like they just roll over you, and almost like I was a gnat on the plate. But I just think the Bengals. With that said, the Jets. It's going to be a good game. I think both guys are great coaches, but I just think overall, I think the way the Bengals are built is going to be what propels him over the Jets here in a situation. But it's going to be a tie game. It's going to be one right down to the wire, and it could go. Again, we've talked about it. We said coin flips here and there for these guys. I mean, you could blindly pick and probably come out picking the right team here. So, give me the Bengals though to get the victory over the Jets, and then put the matchup between the Bengals and the Colts. I would say the Bengals actually get the victory over the Colts here, but I'm not going to because, again, the Colts have definitely proved that he's taken care of the ball all season long. He hasn't had turnovers, and he's creating them on defense. So I just feel like that even though the Bengals, with their very boisterous team that they have, it kind of almost reminds me of the Seattle Seahawks Mo team that he would put together back in the day. This Bengals team is going to be tough, and it's going to be everything that the Colts can bring to get the victory here, but I think he's going to advance into the OMFL Bowl. It'll be another classic game, but it's going to take every bit that the Colts can put together to get past the Bengals and get in to represent the OMFL for the AFC side, and that would bring Colts Cowboys in my prediction.
Well, some of us picked, some of us didn't. I was going to do it one last time. We'll do it right now. I've got the Colts winning the whole thing. I think Becky's got her groove back. She's feeling good. She wants to win one more before that baby gets here and his entire life changes. And if there's anything to take solace in, Mr. Randy, it is that I have not picked a correct OMFL Bowl winner in many, many years. So I may have just given you the scarlet kiss of death, and I apologize for that. But I take nothing back. I have you winning it all. Guys, go ahead and jump in there and just give me who wins the whole entire thing for our last season.
I didn't even do my prediction.
Oh, well, you see, I got confused with the defensive tackle. Go. You give me your whole rundown and then tell me why you're winning the whole thing.
I'll be quick. So
That's
wanted
what I
to,
tell
when
my
I was
wife.
filling out my bracket, I wanted to, when I was filling out my bracket, to pull the bet on yourself thing, but I just, in my heart, I don't have it to do that. I'm not like, I'm boisterous on my streams. You know, I talk loud, but I don't know. I just don't pick myself. And while I think I'm
You loud?
Yeah, I've heard it all before. But while like I look at the matchups that I can match up and I like feel confident in all of them that I could win that game and I should, I'm not going to pick myself. I think it's kind of boring and kind of like so. I match up with the Chargers, my prediction. And since he's moved to LA, he has not beat me. I beat him in the playoffs once, and I think I beat him twice in the regular season, once this year. He'll get it done over me. I don't really. If we played, I would still think I'm going to win, but I'm picking him. I think he's just as capable of doing it. So give me the Chargers, and then Jets, Bengals. I got the Jets. I just think you put Cincy at the 4 seed at 9-8. That's like, I don't know. I just think flying under the radar, he's just going to sneak up, and while nobody's going to take him for granted, I just think he's going to pull off a run like you wouldn't expect to be done. So then give me the Jets and Chargers, where I actually have the Jets continuing their run and beating the Chargers. I think since he's been there before, he's done that. We all know that. I think Logan, for me, not saying that it can't be done, but when I look at Logan's play style, and I don't mean this negatively, I think he relies on the run a bit too much, and he needs to develop as a passer a little bit more. And I think that will hamper him against a really, really good defensive player in Cincy. So give me the Jets. That makes my OMFL Bowl. The Cowboys and Jets. Cincy went on this Cinderella run. Sorry, buddy. It's over. Dallas wins. They end the cycle just like they did to begin it. Give me the Cowboys.
We got Colts. We got Chargers from Trey. We got Cowboys from Randy. Maniac and Hurt. Go ahead and confirm your OMFL Bowl winners, and let's get over to the mailbag.
Colts over the Cowboys. I'll let Maniac go from 7 zip codes away.
Cowboys.
You could tell he said that loud too, but it still sounded like he was talking in lowercase.
Randy's been holding on to that lowercase comment for a while. I like it though.
Dear Lord.
Hurt, what was yours?
Colts over Cowboys.
Oh, Colts over Cowboys. My bad. I heard Colts versus Cowboys. Colts over Cowboys. There you have it. So we got a couple Cowboys, a couple Colts, and then Trey there with the Chargers. I like it, though. You got to be different if you're going to stand out in a crowd. All right, let's open up the OMFL mailbag and see if we can get through a couple of these. Joker, even though he's 50 years old and one of the top tattoo artists in the entire world, still can't figure out how to give me one question per line. He still jams about 18 of them here in one post here. I'm getting some feedback, so you guys got to help me mute. If you're not talking, you got to be muted. Y'all have done really good with that so far, but you got to help me mute. I heard myself talking, and that's a terrible thing to listen to. All right, Joker said, do you think anyone is sandbagging on a player, as in not to build them too much so they aren't over a certain rating, so they import them into Madden 26? Abso-freaking-lutely. D-Money is one of the top sort of doers of that. But yes, I think that is absolutely happening, and it's probably a smart move if guys just want to can in the last season or two or whatever, or hide a player. It's a strategy. I don't fault them for it. You guys have any comments about that?
I'm pretty sure we discussed this on last week's show, and somebody literally.
Yeah,
Say
it was
that
me.
again.
I'll openly admit it. I had, for probably 15 weeks of the season, I had 2 guys sitting at a 90. Now, I know there's been some like potential toss arounds of like restructured import thresholds, but I had 2 guys sitting at a 90 that I had like an upgrade point on each. They may or may not have went over that 90, but I made my decision. I decided which one of them I did want to bring. So unless it's changed like the thresholds and it can't be above a 90 for platinum, or if it's like an 88 or something, then, but which, would make sense. But I think, there's strategy in it. I sacrificed, better skills to bring over a guy. Admittedly, I think the one weakness I think I have here in terms of like my all around approach is I'm not a great drafter. And that's simply because I've genuinely never watched a Madden, like how to draft video. I just like pretty much draft based on vibes. So, when I get a guy,
that might be the funniest thing I've heard this entire cycle. I'm just drafting off of vibes, bro.
I don't know. Funny enough, my for sure X factor like import is Devin McCullough, the wide receiver, and he wasn't even on my board. Big Hurt was like, "Oh, you should take him." I did, and he's like a superstar. So I'm not a good drafter. That's my weakness.
And the crazy part is I had the chance to draft the guy and then I didn't. And the guy that I took is crap. And I should have just taken the guy that I had on my board. And here I am helping out other teams instead of myself. That's what's great. As far as answering the question, I'm sure there is somebody that's being hidden. I'm just going to throw a dart in the dark. Dart in the dark. Yeah, a dart in the dark. And it's a fullback. And it's sitting on Trey's team. Because he likes to bring fullbacks. So, yeah.
A dart in the dark is how my 2 kids got here. So I feel it. Anybody else got any other things you want to throw in here? We're way over talking a sandbagging question.
I'm sorry, I got nothing.
All right. What position's going to be imported into 26 more? I think you're just saying, like, what's going to be the biggest position? I think people are going to just copy and paste D-Money. I don't know why. I think you're going to see a lot of cornerbacks. I think skill positions will be one. And, yeah, we'll see. I think that's probably going to be the 2. Wide receiver, cornerback, those are going to be the 2 positions you're going to see a lot of.
Quarterback, cornerback, and wide receiver.
Yeah, I got nothing to add. Corner and wide receiver definitely would be top 2, I think. And I bet you'll see some cornerbacks, maybe a D tackler or 2, but that's where I would lean.
You might see a couple quarterbacks in the mix.
Yeah, I think so.
Punters and kickers.
Maniac clearly needs to wipe because he's given some crappy takes now. He says, I asked the question early, who was going to be the worst to first to last? How has that turned out, bearing the guys that have not played or tanked? Joker, I don't even remember that question way back when. I think there's only one real person that you could say went worst to first, and that's the Bengals, and it has been crazy impressive. I think you'd be hard-pressed to say something bad about Little Koch. And he's just been a great owner, a great asset to this community as a whole. Ran the deuce for a while. I think that has been really, really impressive. I think the season played out how I thought the season might play out overall. Anybody got any thoughts around worst to first, how things kind of turned out, how the season played out for season 115?
I'm not gonna lie, I read the question and I was like, wait, what? I gotta go back and read it, and then I had to like untwist my tongue, so I got nothing.
Yeah, I put it in the chat GPT and said, please explain this to me like I'm 4.
Yeah, I think the
Worst to
Bengals.
first to last. I was like, wow.
Listen,
the
he's a
only
tattoo
ones-
artist, not a novel writer, okay?
The only ones that even fit that description, funny enough, are the Bengals and the Browns. They kind of, I don't know if the Bengals were last season, but they did make the playoffs, and the Browns were first, and the Browns finished first, and the Browns finished last, and the Bengals are first. So that's about the only one. All the others kind of shook out how, you might expect, I guess you could say. So
I would say the Bears early on in this cycle, but not like as of recent, but like first season or two, he was bottom, got a few high draft picks, and then boom, here he's been thriving on. Because the first season or two, he built Caleb Williams and Roma Dunes and the other younger guys, but drafted some of those young corners and receivers, and now he's got, the team he's got. But I think the Bears, Bengals, and Browns, yeah, I think everybody else is pretty much when I understood the question finally, I was like, yeah, I think those are the only teams that come to mind in my opinion. Maybe, the Texans might, but I don't think they were last, but they've made the turnaround.
This is such a French love show. He just can't let it go. He's got one more thought.
I was gonna say, I guess, overall, Roger, the Texans. He's been last place in his division probably for 6 or 8 seasons prior to that. And now he's, been up at at least the second place, so he's pushing for playoff spots. If you wanted to talk about the AFC East, the Dolphins and I were battling out the first part of this Madden cycle for top spot in the AFC East. In the last 2 or 3 seasons, we've been bottom feeders. So the Patriots and the Jets did a better job of building their roster to compete and get better, and our 2 squads didn't. So that, I guess you can look at it that way as well for that question.
Yeah, it's a question of how much do you want to break your brain? And every time I keep reading questions about first to last first, my brain just melts. And I'm officially in Madden 25 mode of I don't want to break my brain anymore. So Bengals.
If I break my brain anymore, we're in serious trouble here, y'all. I'm going to be just drooling on myself, eating my own boogers. So we're going to be in real trouble. Any other thoughts before we move on to the next one?
If you do that, will you just not do it on stream for us?
Now it's all the fun. It's called content, friend. Content. Tim says, what owners have... Oh, go ahead, Randy.
No, you probably don't want to hear what I had to say.
Probably not. You're right. Tim says, what owners have improved the most, in your opinion, this Madden 25 cycle? I think improved the most is maybe a tough way that I would personally struggle with that question. I think I understand what you're trying to say. I think you have to turn your attention immediately to Colin. He won a bowl game with a team that needed a whole lot of work and that he had to put the work in. I think you got to give Bird his props. That's still a real life NFL rebuild, and he won a championship. I know I'm going to leave somebody else out here that really should get their props. It's hard to say it's hard to say Roger, and I want to let y'all give your thoughts. Here's why I left Roger out, because I think he's still playing the same. He's just getting some breaks now. He's not doing something automatically way more impressive than he's had in the past, outside of just actually able to play and actually able to get the break. So that's why I wouldn't call, in my opinion, Roger the most improved player. I'll turn it over to you guys. Most improved.
For me, when I determine most improved is different from the way I interpret the question. So most improved, obviously, I think you hit it on the head with Roger. I probably know better than anybody. I've been in his division for the last 2 years. That dude is very hard to play. He's a good player, but he's kind of started figuring out how to do it more as a whole. And he's had a few breaks and been able to stick around and play the majority of his game. So that helps. But for me personally, when I look at success, it's not successful in my eyes unless I'm the one holding up the trophy. So with that being said, you got to give it to Bird and you got to give it to Colin. I think they were both first-time bowl winners and well-respected coaches, very good players. But once you get over that hump, that's you're in a different threshold. And I think we could be talking. We very well could be talking about Koch or Logan or Meek this time next week, and they're now in that upper echelon of guys who've done it. So for me, it's really Colin and Bird.
For me, it's really hard to give to anybody because Colin and Bird have both. You could win a championship. It's just they finally got it to happen. I think Tim's kind of wanting to get in the past. Personally, don't think it's Tim getting better. I think it's Tim getting a better team. Has he improved? Yes, but I think it's more along the lines of he fits the style he wants to play than he has with, say, the Rams, which were not really a fast-paced team where the Lions are. If I had to give one person an improved player in terms of just from how I've watched them play, I have to give it to Lost Sniper. He's been a lot consistent this Madden cycle than I have seen in the past. So I'd definitely give him my most improved.
I would say that these Lions owners, man, they have a habit of tossing out questions to get somebody to pat them on the back. I don't know what's going on over there in Detroit.
I don't throw questions to pat myself on the back. Thank you very much.
They win football.
Yeah, Tim is not the most improved. I'll just say that.
Yeah, there's no way. He was good last cycle. He was good last cycle.
They get like 2 winning seasons, and then they like turn into. They think they're Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I let them have that though. Listen, it's been a long road for them. Let them have it. It's fine. I will say though, Trey, your mic has played nice until now. It is not playing nice. We're getting like every third word is like left out, like you're cursing and someone's just beeping you the whole time. Tim says, what owner can improve the most in your opinion in Madden 26? Man, there is a plethora of guys. I wouldn't even know where to start with that. Twinkie, he's going to get a Super Bowl team. He's going to get a guy that's on the cover. Would not be surprised to see that team clicking. I think the quarterback's still an issue for him. So if he brings an import quarterback, maybe he just starts at a different place.
He better bring an import quarterback.
I mean, it's tough, right? Because you got a Super Bowl winning quarterback with all the ratings. Like, that's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, but that quarterback he had from last draft is insane.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you, but you got a dilemma. Because no one's going to go trade for it. There's a whole nother discussion, but no one's going to go trade and give you. So they're going to make him cut a Super Bowl quart. Like, man, I could see the dilemma there. It's not as cut and dry as you all say.
Use your incentives and cut. You save a ton of money. You bring in a lethal quarterback with a younger Saquon Barkley, a younger Eagles
on
team.
A rookie contract.
What he could do too, like what I did with Maniac last cycle, I brought over Parker Colt and traded him before the season started and kept Richardson and then used some of those assets and helped win a bowl. So if he could get a haul for that Dixon guy.
Hey, if you want to bring that quarterback over, the Vikings will be happy to talk to you about that quarterback for a trade. I'll just tell you that right now.
Oh, sorry.
I'd love to know what you said about Parker Cole, but you're still talking in lowercase.
I said the Parker Colt just triggered something. Sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah. That name will get you triggered. I think the Browns, maybe the Steelers. The Titans are going to be a tough rebuild. The Commanders. I mean, Trey will have a better team and be able to build them if he stays. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. The Buccaneers should be better. I think he just needs to hit the reset. The Broncos should be better. I don't know, man. We can sit here and go through a whole list of guys. Jaguars, maybe he can build on some confidence. I don't know. Any other names y'all want to throw out there?
I'd say one guy for me who, like last cycle, I would say had a pretty darn good cycle. He beat me in a playoff game, but I don't think he made the playoffs this cycle. He might have made it early, but it's been a minute. But I know he struggled recently. I'd say Miami. I think Massimo, whatever. He's a talented player, and I think he will.
It's a good one.
I think he has a chance to be better next cycle. He got rid of some players with a lot of cap. obviously today, get with the real life trade. So I think he'll be set up pretty good to start.
Definitely think the Dolphins are one that you got to throw out there. It's hard for me to say the Broncos or like the Giants just because they've had success. I think they have more success than what they're having this season. But in this cycle, Bill made a championship game. The Broncos were the number 1 seed, so they've had success this cycle, just not this season. I think Nysonger might figure out. He's been struggling with the quarterback dilemma. I think he figures that out. Might help him out a little bit, and just kind of hitting the reset button instead of switching teams mid-cycle. Kind of going into a new season, new team. I think we saw the success with the Bucks last year and Kevin. I just think Kevin's ready for kind of to hit the reset button again. Kobe, you can't really say. I mean, Kobe won a bowl game. Won a bowl this year with the Titans, and that was a pretty big rebuild. I think he could do the same thing with some imports and stuff. But one that I do think that could be interesting, and he's had a little bit of success, but not quite the success that I think he could have in the next Madden, is Jay Bowles at the Raiders. The reason I say that is he's gotten rid of some big contracts, but he's also got like a younger running back in Ashton Genty, who I think could be like an all-around bell cow running back to build the team around. So I think that would be one team that I would throw out there to have some success as well.
I appreciate Big Hurt repeating 99.9% of the teams that I threw out there.
Can you hear me now? Am I closer, Coach? Am I
You're
closer?
A little closer.
Are you yelling?
Did you
You
chew
got
through the
untied.
duct tape?
How did you get loose?
I escaped. No, I was going to say.
It's all that weight he lost. He just shimmied himself out of it.
Yeah, he must be done in the bathroom.
Yeah, I finished up. Tucked it away. No, you can look at the top 16, 18 teams that are fixing to pick in the draft order. I mean, all these teams. I mean, really looking at all those teams, you could say, they could improve. We all know how Madden is. Sometimes when you go to a new Madden, some Madden styles play better towards your style of football, and others don't, and so sometimes you can get into a new Madden and you struggle. For me, I think you're looking at, Priest. If this game fits his gunslinger mentality, we could see a different Priest. We're talking about, how the animations play. DBs have to have their eyes on the ball. These guys they have the weapons to throw deep passes, bring some imports over. We could be talking about like the Packers could be all of a sudden, a juggernaut team in this next Madden. So again, it just kind of depends on how the Madden plays, how it fits your style. That's the way it's always been for me. Like one Madden I could dominate, and then two Maddens after that I just struggle because the game doesn't fit my style. I can't get something down right with the new game and stuff. So it's kind of an up in the air toss up. But I wouldn't be surprised, like with some of the things that they've talked about with the passing mechanics and the DBs not intercepting balls unless they're actually looking at the ball coming into the receiver. It could change, this concept and the whole outlook of what the OMFL looks like right now. So.
All right, last question. Nysonger is my dude. I want that to be the caveat to what we're about to say. One of the nicest, classiest guys. He's pushing himself to learn streaming, and he's asking a lot of. He is my dude. I got his back, and I know what I'm about to say is not true, but it sure felt like he copied Tim's question, put it in GPT and said, ask this another way. And this is what it spit out. Of the owners picking in the top 5 of our last draft, who you think will take the leap in Madden 26? I don't even know who is in the top 3. Let's look at the mock draft version, or at least the latest version that we have. Mock draft number 3.
Eagles, Packers, Jaguars, Rams, Giants.
If you don't shut the hell up and let me host my own show over here. Yes, Eagles, Packers, Jaguars, Rams, and Giants. He's saying, which of those teams do you think will turn around? We've already touched on some of them. I'm giving Trey a hard time. I'm not really upset.
I had to interrupt you since you skipped me on the last question.
Oh, did I? Well, listen, I'm sitting here forever. We're chasing all kinds of bumblebees around this office trying to get to the answer of the question, and I thought everybody went. So if you don't go, I'm running with it. So Eagles, well, you get to answer it again because Nicehonger chat GPT how to ask the same question. Eagles, I think he's going to have a much better team. He drafted should be hands down Hall of Fame quarterback. That's going to help his team turn things around pretty quickly. I don't know what to expect from Priest, especially with all the things that Maniac said with the new game. My heart wants to say Nicehonger can turn it around, but let's just be honest. He has not proven it. Crazy decided this week that he's going to stay. I think Crazy's body's not going to let him actually turn things around. And I think without a shadow of a doubt, Bill's going to get things turned around. I don't think he's going to actually be the 5th pick, but that's what it is on the last mock draft. But if it is Bill, he's absolutely going to turn around. He's got his quarterback already. He'll get things figured out. Go, Trey. Who just can't. Trey, you just let me talk. I got to talk. I got something to say. Go, Trey.
I got something to say. God damn it.
Why don't you tell your mic to stop cutting out? Why don't you do that?
You know what? Nate? Fine. I'll be quiet then. I'll talk to him.
Go, buddy.
He's really doing this. He's really not.
Trey, come on. Go.
It's Canadian in him.
I had to be someone somehow. No, Bill's the obvious one. For whatever reason, it was just not a cycle for him. I definitely looked for him to rebound in Madden 26. Crazy being back with the Rams. If he stays with the Rams, I don't know if he's going to throw them out there. Yeah, it's just a matter of can he actually get checked in, and I don't think that's a possibility. Nicehonger is getting way. We'll see how he's able to manipulate that. Plus, with however he drafts, Priest getting a speedster. I feel that's going to keep it because he's got speed, and Priest gets speed in the receiver position. It's just lower in the bill. But at Twink takes that quarterback. He's got a young quarterback with an amazing offense in front on a rookie contract, and arguably somehow the Eagles get the best linebacker in the draft at like pick 31. How the heck did that happen? Pieces are falling in place. The only problem with Twinkie is can secondary.
I'm sure Trey had something really beautiful to say, but we only heard 2/3 of it. So somebody else go. I don't know, Trey. I wish I could help you, but you and Maniac have the worst 2 microphone setups in the whole wide world. I can't figure it out.
What the hell?
Trey needs to talk to his internet company and make sure they're paying them tariffs or something. Because
I don't think it's
like going in and out or something.
I think he's buying them American-made microphones. He needs to buy them a good Canadian-made microphone or something. I don't know. Somebody else go.
Taiwan.
Oh, Maniac fixed his. What the hell did you do? Did you turn it around?
Yeah, I turned it upside down. I'm talking on the other end. I don't know why it's working. It's working.
That's how you should talk from now on.
I'll answer this question quickly. I'd like to make a note. Hopefully this doesn't, ruffle any feathers, but the guy with the heavy military machinery didn't get the top 5, so that's if you pick up what I'm putting down. So
I think he might though. He might get that. He might get that 5th one.
If we're talking top 5, I mean, obviously Giants, that jumps off the board. But I think when you're looking at the teams 1 through 4, And this is the case for a lot of teams that struggle, but all 4 of those teams have one thing in common, and they turn the ball over way, way too much. So if they can figure out how to build an offense sustained around ball control, I think so. Nysonger can run the ball really well. Crazy B-Man, I've played him a few times. He actually runs a pretty fun offense to watch. It's not fun to play against, but he turns it over, kind of puts him in bad spots. But I think all those guys really can take a step forward if they protect the football. I mean, that could be said about anybody. That's kind of a cop-out answer, but I think those 4 in particular kind of struggle with it more than most. So that's what I would say.
Randy, I can't believe you called Maniac out with that heavy artillery over there. That's crazy.
I know, man.
No limit soldiers.
He's got a whole army over there.
I got a whole army.
Mentioned Josh Allen for the rookie quarterback. That's. And then Trey
Guys,
over there at
I got 6
75.
people in this podcast that all have ADHD. Let's stay focused here, guys, and let's answer this question.
What was the question again? I forgot. No.
Maniac said it's hockey time. No, yeah, I think the top 5. I mean, the easy pick is Bill. I definitely think Priest could be one to watch out for as well. Even in our division, it just depends on how he builds that team. And like, I think the Packers drafted pretty well in real life, so it depends on his imports and everything. But I think he's still got to face Colin. He's still got to face me and Tim. So that's 6 games. It just seems like he has to get over that hump. I think Nysonger definitely will take a leap. Like I said, if he figures out the quarterback play. And then I'm just intrigued to see what the Eagles do. Like, he brings that quarterback. Like, he's gonna have a crazy roster out of the gate with out of the box with the Eagles winning the Super Bowl from last year in real life. So that ratings and stuff out of the box to start Madden 26 are just, it's gonna be good, and depending on how he builds that team and what direction he wants to take it. But that quarterback he has is like an immediate impact quarterback, and like I said, you've taken outside the box, you cut some salary with some incentives, and you can really do some dirty things with that roster and turn that team around for the entire cycle. Because I feel like the Eagles are maybe a little bit on the backside contracts wise, but he could make a few trades with a few of the older pieces and bring in some imports and really set himself up for Madden 26 for the entire cycle. Pretty nice.
Listen. And I got to make this quick. We're 2 hours deep on a show that Randy was very specific. We had to be quick tonight so he can get some sleep. So
I've almost said a couple times I'm going to bed.
Yeah, we got to get this thing. We got to land this thing. But I say stupid things all the time, Big Hurt. So I feel for you. It's late. We've been working all day. We've been talking to people. But when you said incentives, I burst out laughing. I don't know what incentives are, but that made me laugh. Okay, we got to get past this question, y'all. All right, last question. What's your favorite, best moment of Madden 25 in the OMFL? Let me pick a winner and get out of here with Drop the Mic. So make this quick. Your favorite or your best moment of the Madden 25 cycle?
For me, it's probably just making it back to
For me, it's turning down the 2 or 3 teams that I've been offered recently when I'm the Vikings. I'm actually going to say the Vikings, and I know, Nate, you're going to love that.
Keeping them incentives. Me was Colin and Bird winning a championship. Seeing some guys get some championships under their belt, some good dudes.
For me, I would say getting more comfortable streaming, doing a little bit more with the Press Pass Live crew, and just building relationships deeper and beyond just like playing games against guys and having buddies here. So I would say that.
Ditto. To everything that everybody just said, because I can't add much more to it.
I'm picking a winner just for hanging out with us in a 2-hour show. Mr. Randy, give me a mic drop.
Mic drop. I I'm gonna do Bill a solid. Let's have quick advances, y'all. Let's have a good off season. Get this thing wrapped up. Keep it cool. I mean, I'm one to talk. Keep it cool. Have a, enjoy the last games if you're in the playoffs or the toilet bowl. I know a lot of us didn't like the game, but we got a lot of good things going on here. I think Madden 26 is trending up. I don't want to be too optimistic because we've been let down before, but it looks good. So just quick advances. Get your 53 set so we can get the final draft done and start Madden 26 really, really good.
Yeah, my only worry is that college football and Madden are going to be so great. It's like I've got other games I want to play because I got other communities here I enjoy being a part of, like shooters, and NHL's been fun and all these other things. So that's going to be something I gotta learn how to balance. But I'm super pumped about it, and it's been a ton of fun. Guys, thank you for helping me do a prediction show. I know it's always the longest. Take care of yourselves. Take care of those around you. Know that you matter and that you are loved. I cannot wait to see you on the next one. Until then, peace.
Bye-bye.
Smash that like and subscribe.